gingerly. I think I can see the nest.
Everybody,
I can see the driving very gingerly.
There's the adult pickle.
I can see the nest. I can see the thickness it's called. I can see the egg. I can see the adult pickle. I'll show you how thick it is. So there's the adult bird. Now, I wonder if the little baby isn't around here as well. They are very precocial. They'll get up and move very quickly. Now, Tebs, I'm just going to walk over there. If that buffalo starts running towards us, you will let me know, will you? Thanks so much. I know it's your birthday. I don't like to strain you too much on your birthday. You will let me know, will you? Thanks so much. I know it's your birthday. I don't like to strain you too much on your birthday. Look at that incredible little egg, everybody. So the hatchling that Scott's found had just hatched apparently and was sitting over here earlier. You can't hear me, I don't think. Now you can probably hear me. The hatchling was sitting just over here when Scott came here this morning. This egg has not hatched yet, obviously. And like I say, the ground-dwelling birds are very precocial. They're a bit like impala lambs or Nyala lambs. They're born almost fully able to move about the place. And I'm sure the other little one is walking around somewhere here with the parents. And like I say, the ground-dwelling birds are very precocial. They're a bit like impala lambs or a little kind of cheeping noise, which I don't think you can hear. They're born almost fully able to move about the place. It's going to move this log so that we can drive a bit further forward. Walking around somewhere here with the parents. Wonderful. I don't want to disturb them too much. They definitely are around here. And I can hear a little kind of cheeping noise, which I don't think you can hear. I'm just going to move this log
nice
so
protective covering there now.
Forward. So anybody driving along here will not drive over the egg. Doesn't seem as particularly well hidden as some of the other ground-dwelling birds' eggs. Right, so let's drive a little bit further forward. Both the adults went running in here somewhere. That's a big egg, that. Noise of perhaps the little baby thick-knee chicken. Keep an eye out here, Tebs. Drive very slowly. We obviously don't want to run it over, but I think you'll find here the little peeping noise of perhaps the little baby thick-knee chicken. Keep an eye out here, Tebs. Drive very slowly. We obviously don't want to run it over, but I think you'll drive up here and stop. Have a listen. Gone down towards the water, of course. Just look carefully amongst the trees here. Have a listen. We may have gone down towards the water, anything in the way. Just look carefully amongst the trees here. Thickening. Now, Edwin, you are a new viewer on YouTube, and you're wondering where in South Africa we are. There's the pickle there. As I started, the engine's gone down into the gap there. We'll try and drive to the edge and see. Edwin, we are in the northeastern section of South Africa, the Lowveld. We lie between 500 and 800 meters above sea level in South Africa. And the Kruger National Park is the most iconic thing that you might have heard of. Huge national park, and we're on a sort of private reserve to the south, to the west of the park. Question, Edwin. We are in the northeastern section of South Africa. Right, the pickle, these are thick knees running now 500 and 800 meters above sea level, back down towards the water, and Kruger National Park. Ryan, wonderful to have you with us. You also want to know how big the reserve is that we're on. Well, that's not as simple an answer as you think it might be. The Greater Kruger National Park, or no, so I'm going to go from most enormous to down to zoom into where we are now. So we're we're in an enormous sort of transfrontier park, which means it goes across 3 countries, called the Greater Limpopo Transfrontier Park. Now, the Kruger National Park is the South African section of that, and the Greater Limpopo Transfrontier Park is 8 million acres. The Kruger National Park is 3.5 million acres. And then we're in a little place called the Sabi Sands, which is to the western side of that area. It's all fences between any of these places that I'm mentioning now. The Sabi Sands is, if I multiply correctly, about 150,000 acres, and then we're on a little section of that, about 6,000 acres here in this sort of western fringes. There's some buffalo there, and I'm just carefully we'll come back and have a look at them. This dam, by the way, has dried out for the first time in 20 years. It has not been this devoid of water any of these places that I'm mentioning now. The Sabi Sands I'm really putting tips through the ring. Well, that's change the simple answer as you think it might be. We're just going to fence no fences between any of these places that I'm mentioning now. The Sabi Sands, I definitely saw the adult running down here. Whether she was with a little chick or not, I don't know. You can't see a little thick knee, can you? I'm really putting tips through the window. Edwin, you are watching from the Netherlands. That's marvelous news. And Edwin, say you've been to South Africa, you've been to Addo, which is in the Eastern Cape, very lovely reserve, and to KwaZulu-Natal, which is another province of South Africa, everybody. And then you want to know if there are any warthogs here. There are warthogs, not many, but there are around. So I'm going to leave this new parent to itself, and we will monitor that. Well, that's not as simple an answer as you think it might be. As I'm mentioning now, Sabi Sands, because I think it probably means moving. I hope it doesn't. I think it's pretty sure that it hasn't been eaten. The egg would have been watching from the Netherlands. That's marvelous news. Now, there's something quite interesting about this buffalo. Hello. Let's not get too upset, chaps. This buffalo here, just over my sort of right shoulder, the middle one there, Tibbs, is very old. And you can see that he's losing condition. In fact, all of these chaps don't look in great condition, but he's in the worst. You can see how skinny he is. His hip bones sticking out. And I think most of his mass at the moment is made up of mud. I think it's pretty sure that it hasn't been eaten because the egg would have been eaten. Oh, well, they would enjoy this mud. But not as much as they would have enjoyed it if there'd been a bit of water that they could have drunk as well. Buffalo do need to drink all the time. So it just gives you an idea again of how dry things have got. And it's the first time in 20 years as well that this water hole has dried up. Quite astonishing. Alrighty, let us continue on our merry quest. We're going to head off to the south now. Or south, really, sort of head through the reserve, see if anything hasn't crossed in. I know there was a cheetah quite close by this morning, so then they've come this way. I don't think they have, but maybe they have, so we'll go have and check that out. Jonathan, you're in New Jersey.
and check that out. Go along and check that out. Are we still black screen? Right, sorry about that everybody. We did go through a little dip, which is commonly not very good for Wendy, and so that's why you the picture. Jonathan in New Jersey, you're a new viewer. Great stuff, welcome, lovely to have you on board. And you want to know how to go on a tour like this. Well, you can't really do exactly what I'm doing unless you become a cameraman like Ted. So in which case you can, but there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of options for different safaris in South Africa, in East Africa, in Botswana. I'm going to try and fix the aerial here. I think that it's come loose. So I'm going to quickly screw it in. I'll just see if that doesn't make a difference to whether...
You never know what's going to be around the next corner. And as we've come across the next corner, there's probably about 300-400 buffalo spread out through the area here to try and catch up with the main body of the herd. Hello, buffaloes. So unlike the old bulls we normally see, this will be a mix of females, calves, and your prime bulls, your mating bulls who are fighting for mating rights. And quite often, when you find a nice herd of buffalo, sometimes lions on the tail. Look at that. They are spread out over a vast distance. Some of them giving us the hairy eyeball. 1,000 yard stare. Looking at us like we owe them money. The males tend to seem to have got that look down a bit better than the females, although the females can be quite intimidating when they stare at you as well. We've parked up though. I think quite a lot of the herd's already passed this area. We're sort of towards the end of the herd. Monet. So Jonathan, our new viewer, who already loves us, we love you too, Jonathan, would like to know how would he go on a safari like this? What I would recommend is you do a bit of research online, depending on your budgets and where you want to go. There's lots of different safari options in South Africa, in this area in particular, Djuma and Arathusa, where we operate, being two of them. But if you're not sure and you don't have a lot of time, I would recommend contacting a safari expert. You hear that lowing, very similar to cattle. oxpecker in the ear. Now sitting on her boss. Bulk grazers, very important animal in the bush, these big herds. They come through, they keep the grass short, and they also fertilize on the move. It's going to be interesting to see tomorrow morning if the lions are on the trail of these buffalo. I mean, we're literally surrounded by them now. All the way around. So it looks like we're towards the end of the herd. There we go, Andrew can show you all the way around us. Buffalo everywhere. See if we can get a little bit close to some of them again. Wayne on YouTube would like to know where the Birmingham boys are. They are to the east of us, sleeping off 3 buffalo that they managed to catch. There's always to keep a lookout for yellow-billed oxpeckers when you're around a nice big herd of buffalo. Wattled starlings here as well. Look at that one's nose, a little pink spot on her nose. Oh, off she goes. So buffalo have to drink daily, and these big herds will often move quite big distances between grazing and a spot to drink. And there's a little boy in the road in front of us. Nice view, bit of a sunset behind those buffalo that are moving behind us. Whoops, sorry Andrew. Here we go. Cloud banks moved in, so not the most spectacular African sunset, but spectacular because it's full of the largest of the cattle species we get. Big buffalo bull can weigh up to around 900 kilograms, normally closer to sort of 700. Formidable beasts. Even for an animal like a lion, they can injure them while they're being hunted. Sometimes they do rush to the defense of each other when lions are about. See, the vast majority of the animals are either females or young, and not near that many big bulls, but there are quite a few big bulls, and they form the defense of the herd. And this little boy closest to us here. Sniff, sniff. Coming really close, giving us a good sniffing. So what happens is they're probably going to look for a spot where they're going to lie down somewhere quite close to here, and where they will ruminate overnight. Oh, another little boy walking past right in front of us. Hello, little one. Oh, some nice grass for you there. Some Digitaria finger grass. Slight problem here. Oh, there we go. The vehicle decided not to start for a bit there. So Fiona, who's in the UK, is wondering, have we seen any little buffalo calves? Fiona, buffalo breed throughout the year, so we have seen lots of buffalo calves this year. I haven't seen any particularly small ones in this herd just yet, but maybe if we catch up with the front runners, we might see some. Oh, sorry, Mama. So they're actually very spread out. I said there's probably 300, 400 odd buffalo here. They are very spread out. They become into these really tight groups when lions are about, so it doesn't look like they've been trailed by lions too much. Sorry about the rattle, it's my gear knobby fingers coming loose. Trying to see if I can spot any very small calves, none yet. You seeing any tiny babies yet, Andrew?
Negative, just one medium-sized bull.
Medium-sized little babies. I'm sure there's one or two midgets in here somewhere, but if we drove through the thick bush after them, they would run off crashing. There's still a few more heading out towards us. Oh, at least it started first time this time. So, talking about tiny baby little things, James has got one of the most succulent little babies in the bush if you're a leopard.
Nikumin! Ah, ndakubutisa mikume yini? Okay, all right. We're live. Sorry, apparently we're live, everybody. Hello. I've obviously unplugged myself. No, I haven't unplugged myself. Don't know what's going on. There we go. 2 pigs, tiny little pigs, and a Volkswagen Golf. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that, whoever you are. May you have a sleepless night and be bitten by ticks. So tiny little piglets there. Very unusual. We don't see them often, and they don't kind of sit so they're not nearly as confiding as that normally. Tabs, if the question comes through, will you let me know, because I can hear nothing. Such sweet little pigs. We're right on the southern boundary of the reserve. question, of course, all the way from the Netherlands about whether or not, I think it's Edwin in the Netherlands, about whether or not we get warthogs. Well, there you go. Things, they don't normally stand still here, which is very irritating, but now these ones are standing still, which is wonderful. Anyway, I seem to have twiddled with something, and now I can hear everybody again. What a relief. Beautiful birds in the background calling that I didn't mention. They are called grey hornbills, southern grey hornbills. Not particularly unusual, but beautiful call and totally distinct from the red-billed and yellow-billed calls. This is a really special sighting, everybody. We don't see this often at all. Got them there. Isn't that sweet? There they go into the bush. So I think we'll leave them there and continue on our merry way. Very sweet. Our plan at the moment is to head down. We're on the southern boundary now. We're going to head down here for a while, then we'll head north and we'll make our way slowly towards the hyena den and see what's happening there. Stop. Some impala in here, there's another warthog, there's some water buck. It's all happening here. I'll just ease very gently through here. There's a young water buck looking at us. Hello there. Hiding behind the bush, you can see the tawny colours, well not tawny, so russet or chestnut colours of the impala behind. Not camouflaged to our eyes, but apparently to the predator's eyes, definitely very camouflaged. Now, Joe Inc. on YouTube, you say you love boar. That wasn't strictly a boar, it was a warthog. And I mean, we do get a similar thing to a wild boar here called a bush pig. They look a bit more like wild boar, but those are called warthogs, same family. It's just a sort of English convention that we call these ones warthogs, but same family. So yes, you could call them a hog or a boar if you wanted to. Wart boar is just a lot harder to say than warthog, of course. And boar is strictly what we'd call the males. And that was a boar, the last one we saw. Two waterbucks, or a lot of waterbuck, with their white toilet seat bottoms. Supposed to be some kind of a following mechanism. I'm not convinced. I'm not really sure why they have that slightly ridiculous round thing on their backsides. It's rather amusing. Heidi in Switzerland, do you want to know how many teeth a warthog has? Heidi, I've got absolutely no idea how many teeth a warthog has. I probably should have. Oh, teats. How many teats does a warthog have? A warthog, as far as I'm aware, has got 4 teeth. Might be 6. It's 4 or 6. But I think it's 4. Teeth, I don't know. Tusks, yes, 2. Wonderful smell, those waterbuck. Very nice musky kind of smell, like a strong smelling horse. Very interesting question from Smart Redhead. Smart Redhead, you want to know what species of animal we eat out here? Well, first of all, we're in a national park, so we don't eat anything here at the moment. But you can eat many of the species out here. Much of the bushmeat here is eminently edible. Impala is pretty good. A warthog can be. Warthog is actually delicious. Buffalo, tough as old boots. They produce lots of meat, good meat. Hippo apparently tastes pretty good. I've never eaten any hippo. Certainly elephants can be eaten. I know they used to, many, many years ago when they culled elephants in the area, they used to can elephant meat. So that's edible too. Just about anything out here you can eat. I wouldn't eat any of the carnivores. I have tasted crocodile once when I was much, much younger. That tastes like fishy chicken, unsurprisingly. Guinea fowl you can eat. You've really got to be a Michelin star chef, though, to make guinea fowl edible. It is very stringy and not particularly delicious. You can also eat mapani worms if you like. They're caterpillars. You can eat termites too. Lots of protein options out here. But the best tasting meat, if you're not squeamish, is a warthog. And yes, Rich King, I have had a roasted warthog. And I think you've had some, you said, on a Kenyan safari. Roast warthog is very delicious indeed. Sorry, that's Gooberwalla, another magnificent Twitter handle. Now everybody is vying for the position of second best Twitter handle in the world. The first best being the one that we heard yesterday, which was James Hendry Fab. That is the best Twitter handle in the world. So the rest of you are trying to compete for second best, and Gooberwalla, you must be coming pretty close to a name like that. You may speak. Oh, the guinea fowl. That's what we were just talking about. That everybody. Tebs has just spotted some guinea fowl. And we were just talking about them, and they're generally fairly foul taste. There they are. Fascinating little birds. That's the helmeted guinea fowl. See the little sort of blue head they have with the helmet on top, and they're in the reserve next door to us. I'm afraid we can't go there, but we can see them. Well spotted, Tebs. Good job. And just to reiterate, everybody, it is Tebs' birthday today. He's 27. That makes you the youngest member of the team, doesn't it, Tebs?
Yeah.
Look how sweet they are. Hello, Mia, aged just 6 years old. You want to know if warthogs are born with tusks. Mia, they are not born with tusks in the same way that you were not born with teeth. Because you were not Richard III. Mia, what they are born with, though, is hair that looks like tusks, and it's quite clever. To make Andrew there. Sorry about the lack of picture. Wendy is really being very naughty today. Mia, warthogs are not born with tusks, but they are born with hair that looks like tusks. And that's quite clever because it makes predators think, oh, we better not go there because they've got tusks. They could hurt us. They could harm us. They couldn't really. That hair kind of disguises the fact that they have tusks. And tusks are these teeth here, the canines, the vampire teeth, and they grow very slowly, you see, and that's why they have to be born with hair there, so that the predators think that they've got tusks. It's very clever, Mia. So we're now right on the southern boundary of the reserve. Oh, Safari, do you want to know if we're not hunting animals around here? What do we eat out here? Safari, we hardly eat anything. You know, it's normally sort of bread and water once a week. I'm not sure how much of that you got. We eat very well here, Safari D. Roast pork tonight, delicious stuff for Ted's birthday. Let's head across to Brent and see what he's doing in Arathusa.
So that cloud bank is dissipated and we're being bathed in glorious evening light. And we're just checking around the western edge of quarantine, because you never know when Queen Karula might pop up. Beautiful, beautiful light. Now we just need to find some animals in it. Watch out there, Andrew. Smart Redhead in Ohio is asking, are male and female buffalo horns shaped differently? Most definitely. The males have that big, thick boss in the middle, whereas the females don't. She said she's noticed some curve and others go up. The ones that are going up are young or sub-adult animals. Fortunately, I was hoping there might be some impala or some wildebeest or zebra in this beautiful light. Unfortunately, not. Jonathan, who's a new viewer from today, from New Jersey, would like to know, do buffaloes produce milk? They do, Jonathan. They are a mammal, so that's all mammals, us included, produce milk, and that's not the male, but the females all have mammary glands, and that's what produces milk. No, I think it's go the other way, Andrew. I've got a hunch. Hello, Ryan. Ryan would like to know, how often do we encounter venomous creatures out here? Is it often enough that we have to be alert? All right, most venomous creatures are far more scared of us than we are of them and tend to steer clear. But living in the bush, it always pays to be alert. You do come across snakes and scorpions and spiders that all can do you some damage relatively often. Scorpion probably we see the most, and spiders, but most of them are, although creating a very painful sting, not much more than that. It's not really going to end your life. Obviously, you have to be careful with snakes. We see mambas, spitting cobras, worm slungs relatively often. I just want to go check the Gallagher waterhole this time of the evening. Who knows, maybe the Queen decided to grace us with her presence. For our new viewers who might not know who the Queen is, it is Queen Karula, the dominant female leopard in this area. She likes this area around our camps and the Juma lodges. She does spend a lot of time here, so I'm hoping she has managed to sneak through. We've missed her tracks and she's in the area. I know James was following up on alarm calls around there earlier, so you never know. Maybe she is hiding from James, but would like to reveal herself to me. You guys are wondering whether there's going to be a fireside chat this evening, and there shall not be. At this time of the year we're on a skeleton crew and it becomes even more skeletal next week, so unfortunately we'll be extending ourselves too much over this period. It's only for a short while, and while people are off seeing their loved ones over the festive season, but there will be no fireside chat this evening. Getting close to Christmas time, as I said, and that's one of the reasons we are on the skeleton crew. And James Bear in Kansas City would like to know, are there any interesting customs that we celebrate out here during Christmas as opposed to what you would do in the Northern Hemisphere or in the States? Well, one of the big differences, James, is our Christmas parties generally, or Christmas lunch, etc., tend to be pool parties in this part of the world. It is our hottest time of the year. We tend to gravitate to barbecues and sitting outside. But in terms of what we do and whatnot, it is very similar. There's Scott and his friends up to nonsense, I'm sure, misbehaving. You can just see Scott's got a naughty look on his face. Very naughty man, this man. I think Scott's thinking the same as me, that Queen Karula might be popping up here. So, hello, Scotty.
How are you doing?
Very well.
Andrew, hello everyone.
Hello. What are you doing here, Scott? This is my spot at this time of day. Ah, see, Scott.
Or whatever was the alarm call, caused the alarm calls with the Inyala that James was responding to.
See, Scott and I were thinking of exactly the same plan, but unfortunately, what we found was a bearded wonder boy and no leopard. So we're going to continue on. I think I've got one more spot where I might be able to produce something.
I'm sure you will. Good luck, everyone.
Evening.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Brent.
Well, they say great minds think alike. Go ahead. James on the radio. I'm doing Gallagher shortcut past the Gallagher waterhole, and then I'm going to do Bottles Hook to Sydney's. I'm hoping that those wild dogs decide to move west, or southwest. As I said a bit earlier, those who might have missed it, there is a pack of wild dogs not too far from our northern boundary. And it's about the time. I think it's getting cool enough that they might start wanting to move. So Andrew and I are going to meander up towards that area. Sorry, James, back to your Christmassy question. As you can see, we don't have much snow or cold weather in these parts, so we tend to focus most of our celebrating during Christmas outdoors, around the swimming pool and the barbecue. In terms of food, probably very similar Christmas hams and turkey. Sometimes chicken instead of turkey. And James Hendry and I will be putting our culinary skills to the test for the crew this year. As we will be producing the Christmas Eve dinner and the Christmas Day lunch. Of course, we are so good at everything, it should be a piece of cake. Don't let Andrew near the kitchen. That's one thing we don't. We don't even let him chop onions. He might chop his finger off. Very good thing. He's a really great camera operator. Very bad luck. As I thought I heard something, someone started talking on the radio on the Game Drive channel. Thought I heard a Franklin alarm call. So we're going to head up towards that northwestern corner where I hope, by all hopes, before the end of the safari, those wild dogs will come visit us, my favorite animal. An early Christmas present, you could say. But let's go to James, who's about to go see one of our other favorite animals is at home.
Right, we're nearly at the hyena den, everyone. Preparing the Christmas meal, I suppose Brent and I will be doing. I'm hoping that the shop we buy it from is going to have done most of the preparation. Because if I actually have to do some cooking, well, there's really no guarantee of the result. I'm not a very good cook. In fact, I'm an appalling cook. I think Brent's pretty good though, so we should be okay. I think my job... One second, everyone. My job will be to serve the Christmas pudding and light the brandy that goes around it. That's what I would be doing if I was at home with my family. I don't know who's going to do that this year. I can guarantee you there won't be nearly as much flame as there is normally. Just arriving at the hyena den. It's still very hot. Oh no, we've got action here. Brilliant stuff. I'm going to start this side. Right, let's have a look here. There is one. Sabaralt. In fact, I'm not going to start this side, I'm going to start the other side. That's where the tips. I'm going to come in here with a hanger and chop it inside a tree. Right, before we drive, or as we drive in here, we're going to rename these things from the ones we have done before. And very cleverly, Nikki Austin came up with a nomenclature system that's going to keep us reminded of their ages. So, we're going to name them after their birthdays, or the months in which they were born. So the fluffy one, the 7-month-old, is going to be called May. That's when she was born. Then the 7-week-old one. This is fascinating. So every time we get here, something else bizarre occurs. That's 2-week-old cub. That 2-week-old cub there was either greeting or suckling from the pretty mum. She's suckling. Now, they're not supposed to do that. That is absolutely incredible. All right, so while we're sitting here, we're going to have May. That was May we first saw. She's that one that, just to the left-hand side. Tips the one on the ground there. That's the 7-month-old there. That's going to be called May from this day forth. Right. Then the 7-week-old cub, which was born 7 weeks ago, obviously, we're going to call October. So are we? Yes. No, we're not. We're going to call November. She was born beginning of November, so that's going to be November. And then we're going to have December 1 and December 2 being the twins. Then the adults we will call Pretty. There she is. She's the one standing there. And we'll call the one lying, the dominant female there, lying there, the matriarch. We think maybe the matriarch. She's going to be called Manky, which was a good name for something that looks like she does. All right, so we've got May, November, December 1, December 2, Manky, and Pretty. So what's going on here is fascinating. See, Pretty is now trying to push one of the December cubs out of the way because the December cub is trying to suckle from her. Now, you will read in books that doesn't happen. There she is, suckling from a hyena that is not her mother. I really think you could spend all day here and learn some fascinating things every single time. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to reposition slightly so that we can get the left-hand nose of the car a little bit closer and shoot a little bit of this virtual reality rig that we have here. So confiding with us now. There we go. Closer. That's it there. Perfect. Right, the 7 cameras are now recording. Stop the sound. We'll click. That clicking noise you're going to hear is me just syncing everything. Interestingly, sorry, Tips, can you go down to May on the ground there? Look how fat her belly is. I think she's had something to eat today. Definitely looking very full indeed. So somebody probably brought something back for her. Her mother has got a very scarred back. So we'd call her Scarback if we see her, but she doesn't seem to be around here anywhere. And I haven't seen her for a long time. Again, December 1, feeding from Pretty, which is just bizarre. And Pretty will be very careful about creating too much biting there on that young cub because she is definitely subordinate to the female lying in the entrance hole. It just changes every time we come here. There's something fascinating going on. And just to reiterate, if you perhaps weren't watching this morning, yesterday I remained convinced that we only had one of these two twins around. And because we hadn't seen them together here. Last time we saw them together was about a week ago, in fact more than a week ago, at the other den on Philemon's Dip. And now they have both arrived here. It's the first time we'd seen them. I was convinced that there was only one here. And then Inga sent through two photographs of two very different looking cubs, and I couldn't understand it. But what we were seeing was one and then the other, one and then the other. So both of the twins are here, and we've got the 7-week-old one, now called November. And she's inside and doesn't want to come out now because a domineering female is right in the entrance there, possibly feeding her most dominant cub. Just sit here and see what happens. I think it's just too fascinating and, well, as well as being extremely cute, watching what's going on here. I'm not sure if we're copying the final control or not. I may have turned them down by mistake. Look, now they're both trying to suckle in their mother. Ah, yes. No, I had to turn them down. Oh, I'm copying them. Now they're not making a huge effort there to get into any kind of position where the cubs can easily suckle from her. Gail, you're in Calgary in Canada, where I've no doubt it's freezing cold. The only reason I know where Calgary is because you had the Winter Olympics there at one stage, I think, many moons ago. Gail, you want to know who the mother of May is. May's mother is the scar-backed female, and I haven't seen her for a long time. That's not surprising. May will hang around the den here until she's about 8 or 9 months old, and then she'll start to move with the clan. And I suspect her mother probably brought something back for her to eat, and that's why she's so fat now. There were 3 adults here this morning, one of whom looked like a very pregnant female. Amazing stuff going on here. Now, Wingnut, you're in Lancaster. I don't want you to be confused by the hyenas. I think we're all slightly confused, but I think we're starting to get a handle on things now. Remember, highly matriarchal society. The one in front there is the most dominant that we can see, that we know of. She's got twins. The one behind is the pretty mother, also very hot, obviously. She's got one cub, now known as November. She is slightly lower ranking than this female, there's no question about that, but much higher ranking than the very subordinate female that was around here this morning, and you can just tell that by the way they react to each other. That subordinate female would run away every time these two stood up, and she was playing with May, who's now fast asleep, and May and she were getting on famously, but I suspect it was just kind of play behavior, because I think May's mother is also very dominant, but I don't know where she would fit into this hierarchy that we can currently see. So Wingnut, fear not, we're all relatively confused, but we're all learning something new about these incredible animals every day. Like you say, just wonderful things. This morning was the first time we'd seen all three of these cubs. Well, a completely unanswerable question here, I'm afraid, but very interesting. Safari Dean, you want to know if hyenas or any other animals suffer from something like we do, humans do, postpartum depression? I really don't think we understand. Listen to that. I really don't think we understand them sufficiently to be able to say. Safari Dean, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'm not sure, I don't know much about it in humans, so I'm not sure what the hormonal causes of it are, but I imagine if they are hormonal, which I think they are, I imagine the same sort of hormones will probably be, going up and down in most mammals. So perhaps there is a form of postpartum depression for all mammals. To know how often the hyenas are likely to move their den. Mark, I thought it was every 4 or 5 weeks, but these chaps have now been here for sort of 6 weeks, I think. And have they been there that long? Maybe not quite that long. They've probably been here about a month. And I would have thought sort of 4 to 5 to 6 weeks they would move every so often. I know they have a number of dens around this place. They came here for a while, then they evacuated here and came back again about 2 months later. So, Mark, I'm not sure, to be honest. Let's wait and see. Let's put it at 4 weeks here, and let's wait and see when they leave this den. I think it does depend on the amount of threat that there is, the amount of hygiene. This is a very busy den. There are lots of cubs here, obviously defecating, going to the loo all over the place. So the chances of disease increasing around here are very high, and maybe they will move, the next week or so. Mankey and her 2 twins have only been here for about a week, though. Look at those teeth. What a vicious set of gnashes. So, Tiki, a very to know, you want to know, surely if she didn't want them to suckle from her, she could just lie down or move. Well, it's exactly what she did, she lay down the wrong way, and then when one of them came up again, she kind of pushed him straight into the hole. So, yeah, you're absolutely correct, doesn't have to tolerate it, and is to a large extent is not tolerating it. And she's now, I think, trying to call her cub out. She's trying to call November out. November is definitely very reticent about coming out when Mankey is around with December 1 and 2. Look at that. Heading off around the mound there. Competition for the second best Twitter handle in the world has just been won, hands down, by somebody with the Twitter handle Brent Leo Smith's Boots. All I can say is, while it's an amazing Twitter handle, I don't know what this female is doing, but we'll watch her. She's straight behind us now. While that is an amazing Twitter handle, it's not one that you should perhaps be proud of. You don't want to go anywhere near Brent Leo Smith's Boots. In fact, I'm so astounded by your Twitter handle that I've forgotten what your question was. So we'll just get it through again. So Joyce in Pennsylvania, you want to know why Pretty is drooling? I don't know. I think it's probably because they've just eaten. There's some food around here. She's looking pretty full. So is May, obviously. Anyway, let's just try and get the question again for Brent Leo Smith's Boots. So, Brent Leo Smith Boots, you want to know if the cub will get any milk from Pretty. Oh, I've made a mistake. There is May. May has just walked into picture. That is not May. That's another sub-adult there. She's not going to get a name. That's about an 8-month-old. Not an 8-month-old, about a 10-month-old. They're 2 months older than May. Goodness gracious. So they're going to have to be called March. So we've got March, May, heavens above. March and May, Pretty and Mankey, December 1, December 2, and November. Phew. It's become absolutely fascinating. Right, so quickly, let's head across to some more suckling. No Brent Leo Smith's Boots, I don't think that she will give them milk, but if they do get hold of a teeth, yes, they will give them milk. Let's go across to Brent. He's also got some suckling going on.
Oh, unfortunately, that Impala female decided to move, and the suckling is over, but we've got that beautiful big herd of Impala. We just can get a little bit closer. Lots of little babies. The most numerous antelope in Africa. It's incredibly successful species. Incredibly well designed. I know a lot of the regular viewers will know it, but for the new viewers, these guys have been unchanged for 1.6 million years. So they have had no need to evolve further. They are perfect. So they're going to head out from this slightly broken bush to a slightly more open area where they'll rest up for the evening. A lot of animals choose to rest in open areas because it's a better chance for them to spot a potential predator sneaking up on them. Imps. Donna in South Carolina would like to know what James and I are planning on cooking for Christmas Eve dinner. Well, I think both of us are quite partial to baby impala. No, I'm only joking. We're not going to be cooking any baby impala. We'll leave those for Karula for Christmas Eve dinner. We'll be probably, I think we're doing chicken and ham for Christmas Eve dinner. And lots of it so we don't have to cook for Christmas lunch. But I think Christmas lunch we'll have around the pool. It's probably going to be 105 degrees Fahrenheit on Christmas Day. Dan seems to think Andrew should be the official dishwasher for after Christmas dinner. Andrew, do you think you should do the dishes? Andrew says he'll do the dishes. So there we go. Thank you, Andrew. So we're going to leave these Impala. Let's go back to see what's happening at the hyena den.
Right, so we have not moved, but some of the hyenas have, and Pretty's gone around the other side. Mankey is here, sleeping with her backside into the den, which is probably a little intimidating for November. And round the other side is also May. So not much going on here at the moment. We'll sit here for a few more minutes, and then we'll see. Here comes Pretty. Now, she's been walking around, smelling. She walked around the vehicle twice. So I don't know what's creating kind of a bit of consternation for her. trying to call her cub out. But unfortunately, the fat lump that is Mankey, the ugliest hyena in the world, blocking the den. An amazing sound. Another one of these great questions that's very difficult to answer, and those are the best kind. Kathy, in Tennessee, you want to say, you say that you're surprised that these two lactating females aren't fighting, and can I explain that? Kathy, I'm not really sure why they should fight. Certainly there's a hierarchy in the hyena clans that is very definite and undisputed, and so, I mean, were there to be any conflict, there's no question who would come out on top. The Mankey mother would definitely come out on top unless she was old and decrepit and injured, which she isn't. But I can't really think of any mammals that fight simply because the females are lactating at the same time. In fact, I've always sort of thought of it as being quite the opposite. So if you can think of an example, let me know, and then let's try and unpack it together. The all is now going into that wonderful evening peace. There are a couple of grasshoppers stridulating around the tree, around the termite mound here. You can hear them going. In fact, those are probably cicadas, different species of cicadas. Some other ones going very high above us. A couple of francolins way in the distance calling their last call for the day. And Teb, sorry, can we just have a look at these two nests that are dolefully, mournful nests? And probably a very inexperienced male weaver came and built those two nests, hoping to attract himself a little family there. And they were obviously both rejected. Then normally, it's a southern-masked weaver. Normally the southern-masked weaver will nest with other southern-masked weavers. And this one decided to build his nest here above a hyena den, which is, well, I mean, right above the hole there, probably not the most best-smelling location. And two females came to observe his efforts, rejected them, and now they stand there as a testament to his failed attempts to seduce a family for this year. Hopefully he's found himself a decent colony, and he's now, maybe, he's found himself a little wife for the season. Spend another 2 or 3 minutes here. I'm not sure if the final control is trying to talk to me or not. It's really difficult with these radios these days to know what's going on. Oh, she's almost in the hole now. We had a few questions yesterday about whether or not the adults would take refuge in the hole, and the answer is no, but clearly they will stick their backsides in if they feel the need. Get out of it. Smelly animal. Move out the way so that November can come and eat. Oh, she's got another injury on her. Well spotted, Tibbs. It's bizarre. Right. Look at her. A nasty injury there. But she really is a doleful-looking creature. Right, now look there. As soon as she's moved away, look who's come out. Look who's come out. It's little November. Or is it? Yes, it is. It is indeed. Look. See the spotting? So at 7 weeks, at 6 weeks, they start to get the spots, or 5 weeks, and she's now got quite a lot of spotting down her neck. And look how happy she is. Look how incredibly happy she is that that manky, disgusting thing has moved away. Oh, sweet, man. So excited to see Mum. Oh, isn't that wonderful? So, Wingnut, you worried about November never coming out and getting enough to eat? Wingnut, don't worry. This is totally normal. The calling's normal. All the behaviour here is entirely normal, entirely consistent. And certainly, old November there looks to be in very fine fettle indeed. She doesn't look to be thin at all, and I'm sure she's getting enough to eat. And if she was that starving, she'd have rushed straight for the teat. But she hasn't done. She just wants to come out and have a nice play. It's so sweet. Mike, an interesting one in Florida. You say, what makes hyena's milk some of the most nutritional that there is? I wasn't aware that it was the most nutritional, but that said, Mike, if it is, they do have incredibly efficient digestive systems, and I know that one of the major reasons they invest so heavily in that digestive system is that if you're a low-ranking female, you can't bring food back to the den because higher-ranking females will just steal it from you and feed it to their own cubs. So if you're a low-ranking female, you need to be able to convert food that you find into milk quickly and efficiently so that you can bring it back to the den and feed it to your babies in the form of milk. And I suspect if their milk is that much more nutritious than any of the other predators, that will be the reason why. Nice question. Thanks, Mike. All the way in Florida. So nice to see little November out now having a bit of a suckle. It just seems to me like order has been restored with the departure of Manky. I mean, it must be a bit like, you set up a little home with your children, and then suddenly some extremely aggressive, foul-smelling human just moves in with her two aggressive children. And it wouldn't be surprising if your own kid went and hid itself in its own room, didn't come out until the smelly one and her children had vacated the premises. That's exactly what's going on here. How big. So lots of questions about the fascinating social structure that hyenas have. And Rebecca, you want to know about the twin situation and would they have the same social structure or status being twins? Rebecca, they absolutely would have the same social status. Remember, they inherit their mother's social status. Now, what I suspect is that, well, what we do know is that if there are two females born, especially to a high-ranking female, one will kill the other. So what we can infer from the fact that there are two cubs here is that one of them at least is a male. They might both be male. And that's my sort of gut feel, is that they're both males. And they will inherit their mother's status to a point, but once they're adult males, they will be dominated completely by all the females within the clan. So the fact that they're twins doesn't actually make any difference to their social standing within the clan. They cannot both be females, or it's highly, highly unlikely that they're both females, because one would have killed the other. So, Rebecca, I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, please feel free to send through another and tell me to buck up my act. Right, let's head back to Brent Leo Smith, see what he's got for you. I'm going to sit here probably to the end of the drive, and I'll see you shortly.
So So we're back at the Gallagher Shortcut Waterhole, hoping for a last-minute leopard, but alas, she has not decided to grace us with her presence. So I'm sure you're tired of seeing my ugly mug. So let's go back to James and the hyenas, and we'll see you bright and early for the sunrise safari.
Well, Brent didn't take his time over that. Tebbs and I were just having a bit of a stretch, and now we're back. That's wonderful. And we'll just spend the last few minutes with this precious little cub and her mother. I'm not going to move from here. Okay, we don't want to disturb them as it gets dark. And the picture that you are seeing is a lot lighter than it is actually. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we hit the summer solstice in 2 days' time. I cannot believe that that's the case. Ivy in New Jersey, you think Mankey's name should be Cork because she's always plugging up the hole there. Maybe it should. It's quite a very nice suggestion. Thanks, Ivy. You can see the light starting to fade now. And Pretty is looking around carefully, just seeing what's going on, seeing if maybe Mankey's coming back. Hoping, I've no doubt against hope, that she won't come back for the next little while, but knowing that she will eventually because her two cubs are in the hole there. So it's so peaceful now around here. A little bit of a moon. That thunderstorm that we hoped was going to be here has definitely not going to be here now, as is the case in a drought year. There is the moon, the waxing moon. It's now just over half. It'll be pretty close to full, I imagine, on Christmas. Seems to be nice serendipity around that. Whether there is or not, I don't know. Just flicking off the flies. Now, Philip, a very nice comment. Apparently, well, you say it doesn't surprise you that hyenas have the strongest bite of all mammals, given how big their teeth are. Apparently they don't. Apparently the jaguar, Philip, in South America has an even more powerful bite than the hyena, if you can believe it. I think that's astonishing. Now, I'm just going to try and remember my numbers here. Apparently a human being has a bite force of about 150 psi, or pounds per square inch. I think a hyena sits at about 850 pounds per square inch. The biggest, I believe, of any animal is an orca, a killer whale. And I believe their bite sits at about 16,000 pounds per square inch. And I think a jaguar is just higher than a hyena's. Now, you know, how accurate those measurements are is anyone's guess. And I think there's probably quite a lot of estimation in that. So wonderful information from Raisa, who always sends through little gems. Raisa, you say you read a study where it showed that the hyena's skull is not completely formed until they're 3 years old, and therefore those big jaw muscles which would need to be attached to the sagittal crest on the skull are not fully functional until about 3 years old. And Raisa, you say that's why one of the reasons they suckle for more than a year. Yeah, I'm sure that is absolutely the case. But certainly, though, why they won't be eating bones before they're 3, maybe they will certainly be eating a lot of meat before then. Now there you can hear a white-browed scrub robin, and that white-browed scrub robin has come here specially. I ordered him in order to sing happy birthday to Tebbs. Tebbs. Tibbs, isn't that nice? That's much nicer than the song we gave you today. And lots of you, thank you very much for wishing Tibbs a very happy birthday. I think he's had a good birthday, other than the blinding heat, of course, that it's been in. It's normally from Johannesburg, of course, where the heat is not so hot. Did you spend the summer in the Kalahari?
Winter.
Winter, yeah. All right, everybody, that's it from us today. We're going to leave these hyenas to their peace. Thanks, Tibbs, on your birthday for all your work today. Big thank you to Louise and Nikki in the final control. Of course, a thank you to Brent Lear Smith, the inimitable and the irascible, he of the smelly boot, and Andrew, who was filming him today, and Scott for his unfortunately fruitless tracking exercise. We will see you in the morning on the Sunrise Safari. Stay safe and happy wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.